Oftentimes, the pain is there to wake us up to the truth that we've been avoiding. Let that one sink in for a minute. You'll hear in this episode, and you'll be able to hear it in my voice, as I'm sure you can hear it now, and my fellow empaths, you guys can always tell if I'm going through something, what I'm going through, what's happening. And I'm also not really good at faking it, nor do we have to, nor should we, because we are worthy of having it all. We can make great impact. In fact, we can even help more people when we show up exactly as we are in any given day, regardless of what we're going through. Because this shit is hard. Life is hard. I'm in a lot of pain right now physically, and I'm in pain emotionally. I'm going to deeper levels of doing body work and trauma release work from many, many years of suffering abuse as a child. And it's a lot. In fact, I just texted my therapist this morning. Wonderful Saturday morning over here. Just texting my therapist. But I said to her, it'd actually be easier to just keep this crap stuffed inside, in a lot of ways. Because to heal, you have to go through the pain. You can't go around it. And so many of you, and I know you've been avoiding the pain. You've been working around the pain. You've been band-aiding the pain because it feels like that's easier, and you don't want to go through the anguish of feeling all the things. But guess what? Our body doesn't lie, and at some point you're going to get whacked and you're going to get forced to deal with what you've been suppressing, whether it's you're not happy in a relationship, you're not happy in your job, in your business, you're working too much, you don't have enough play in your life, you don't have enough support. Old wounds, it shows up in our body, and in this guest interview today, you'll hear how that shows up even with the people you admire, professional athletes, artists. It all comes out. Our bodies always keep the score. And if you have not seen that I am doing something I rarely do, literally, it's at the most ever twice a year, I am doing a free live Specialis training for you all in order for you to stack that cash this summer. So 4 unique ways to get fresh cash into your business this summer. This is specifically designed for service-based entrepreneurs and product-based entrepreneurs. And it does not matter where you're at in your business. You could be millions deep. You could be just starting out. And this is going to work. So I have pulled these 4 ways that I've seen work over and over and over again with working with over 150,000 business owners worldwide over the years. And I'm doing this completely for free. And I know a lot of you are like, oh God, a free training, and then it's going to be circle talk, and then I'm not going to really get anything out of it. And then therefore you don't prioritize it because you think I'm just doing it to sell you something. Well, there's a reason all of my trainings sell out. And sell out meaning, yes, it's free, but I have a max of 500 spots. And I am running some ads to this training to get some more fresh faces in there. And it's also my way of doing the law of reciprocity when it comes to abundance. I teach you, just as what I do, is you give high quality stuff. You give some of your best stuff, knowledge, intellectual property, tips, strategies. You give that away and you'll see the abundance that you get in return. And this is why all of my trainings sell out. So you can go to the swipe up. It's in the show notes, or go to projectmewithtiffany.com/summer cash. Share it with anyone that you want to share this with and get them in there. We're going to be doing $1,000 of giveaways, and we're kind of famous for our giveaways because, again, we like to have that shock value and give away something that you're like, can't believe that you're getting. Like, oh my God, this is amazing. I can't believe she's doing all of this. She's already giving us thousands and thousands of dollars of a free training, and we're getting $1,000 giveaway. Yes. And will I be sharing an exciting opportunity for you guys in there? I absolutely damn sure will, because that'd be crazy for me not to, because so many of you will be like, yeah, I want to I want to lean in. I want to learn from you. I want to do more, but not before I give you the actual goods that are clear and actionable where you can walk away and implement them and stack some cash this summer. Because what do I say? If your business is not consistently generating fresh cash, you don't have a business. You have a jobby, a time and energy sucking hobby. And we're not available for that here at ProjectME. Go to projectmewithtiffany.com/summer cash. It's also in the link in my bio on Instagram and TikTok at ProjectMeWithTiffany. If you're tired of hearing the same old basic mindset and motivational fluff talk, you've come to the right show. Welcome to Project Me with Tiffany Carter, the podcast where we dish on everything from managing that crazy brain of yours to manifesting abundance to my straightforward, actionable steps that will make you major money online. Now, I'm not your typical multimillionaire entrepreneur. It takes a small village to keep my anxiety and depression in check. I'm inherently disorganized with an intense obsession with office supplies. Your girl here is a digital marketing content expert who's generated over $200 million in sales. I promise by tuning in twice a week, you will get a much needed refreshing dose of truth, clarity, and cash making advice. Now let's get to it. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? It's your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that's going to help you grow your business, your bank account, your mindset, your abundance, and everything in between. And I feel like I need to warn you about something today, and it's really serious. I am super cunty with a K, like not a little cunty, but like next level cunty. So I'm just letting you know that you're going to hear all sorts of nonsense. I can be highly entertaining when I'm crabby like this. I fucking did something to my knee. I can't go to yoga. I can't walk. I have to do all these things that my guest on today, Dr. Audra, is having me do. And I just found out that this could take 2 weeks to get better, which I'm not available for, hence my cuntiness. So I have brought on for you, this is something really special because it's rare that we get to have a peek behind the curtain of what uber successful professional athletes, celebrities, people at the top of their game, billionaires, mega multi-millionaires, the things that they do to fine tune their bodies and their minds to give them that extra edge that puts them in that like elite rare status. And this woman, Dr. Audra, who is a celebrity medical specialist, she specifically works on like sports injuries and gets to the root causes of people's pain, but uses a lot of mindset stuff along with all of her expertise on the body to get them that relief and to put them back out on the field, to put them back out on the road to get the show going. And I want you to hear some insight so that you can apply this to your own life. It's kind of wild what people do if you want to be the best. And I do a lot of these things and I have the receipts to show it. So it must be working. But there's stuff in this episode that you're going to hear that you can start applying immediately if you want to have the edge. And who doesn't want to have the edge? It comes with a lot of perks, let me tell you, even though I'm cunty with a K today. Welcome, my love.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
So we were talking before this about everything that annoys me. So we might as well keep going with this. Like I have a fucked up garage door that is apparently like some high tech thing that works on Wi-Fi and it mysteriously and randomly is opening at strange moments, which that's not what you want a garage door to do. Can we talk about like appliances and stuff that they're just adding Wi-Fi to? Do I need my oven? Like my Wolf range here there's a big sticker on it, Wi-Fi, and like turn it on from your phone. So what am I like at the gym and like turning it on to preheat my oven? Why do they do these things?
I mean, we don't cook, so we definitely aren't doing that, nor do we need that.
That's true. Someone might actually find this really helpful. It's like Wi-Fi, like it's just a gimmick, isn't it? It irritates me.
And then I feel like it's never connected. Like even the Sonos in the office, We have to like go through and reconnect, reboot them all the time. Just like you should restart your phone at least once a week.
Why should I restart my phone once a week?
I don't know. That's one of my things I say. Like, it is true. A lot of my problems are solved by doing press ups and restarting my phone. So it's become kind of a tagline.
Here we go. This is one thing I notice you do. I coach her, by the way. So she's going to like sing my praises so that you pay me. But like something that I notice that you do, which is so funny, is like you weave in, it's almost like a dig, but it's for my benefit. You'll be like, you just did it. You're like, yeah, just like restarting your phone like once a week. Like I tell you to do the press ups, and she'll be like, so anyway, she'll ask me a question about business, and she's like, so how those press ups going? Like, you really know?
I mean, I'm in it to win it. Like I'm competitive. I want to win. Also, yeah, with patients, they're like, so I'm going to come here. Sometimes I'm going to hurt a little bit. You're going to make fun of me. And then I have to pay you. And I'm so pumped to come back. I mean, I have the best job.
Why, going with this phone analogy, like, why do we need to restart this phone once a week? Like, how does this relate to the body? Because I feel like there is some tie there.
Ooh, yeah. We all just need to take a second and breathe and slow down. And I'm talking to myself right now too, because I'm usually pedal to the metal. But your body recovers when you rest, when you sleep. And don't get me wrong, loading and doing rehab, there's a time and place for that. But just in general, life, body, maintaining a healthy regimen, working out, feeling good, you need to incorporate a little bit of rest and relaxation, or your body's going to force you, hence your knee.
That's really fun. I'm not a fan of this. And I do a lot of luxuriating. That's what pisses me off. But like, I am someone who I don't really, unless I'm sleeping, I don't want to really be still that much. But I can only imagine you deal with such high functioning people. How do you help them through the mindset of like when they get sick, or I have this injury right now, or you're dealing with someone who depends on their body, their mind being right, everything firing on all cylinders to make money and to make other people money? Like, how do you calm them down and talk them off the ledge? Because this is very inconvenient. I'm not here for this. I don't like it. I would pay a lot of money for this to be taken away. But you said like, it doesn't matter. I can't control my body. There it is. I can't control my body. And that pisses me off.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of things are out of our control. Some things are in our control, like how we look at the situation. So everyone's different though. So it's not really a cookie cutter response. You're going to respond that way. Some people might be super sad. Some people might be so quiet, shut down, like inside themselves. Other people might be like, oh, this is great. I finally get to rest. So just figuring out where that person's at and what they need. And when I show up, we're guaranteed to have some fun, whether you want to or not. Hey, do you need me to make fun of you? Do you need a pep talk? Like, where are we at that's going to get you motivated and get you in that positive spin? We can sit in the suck for a little bit, but what is going to keep you moving forward to not only get better, but we're going to be more than better, and we're going to be great.
Do you feel that when someone is injured or gets sick, it is the body's way of wanting you to rest and recalibrate your system? Do you feel there is some of the woo-woo stuff there that comes into play?
Yeah, obviously you can go through, like, of course, if you touch someone that was sick, virus, like all that stuff, but there is something to it, because it's weird when you start noticing patterns and you've been in it long enough, seeing when people get injured or seeing when people get sick, that it's like, oh, wow, that's around a big thing. Or you just did all these shows or the big game and then you get sick. It's like a letdown, like your nervous system's on steroids, go, go, go. And then you finally get to relax and it just is like, we're done. We're done. You're welcome.
How often do these people rest? Like, for the rest of us who walk around going, I'm exhausted, I need to rest, but then we're pissed off if we're forced to rest because we want to rest on our own terms. But active rest, And resting is more than just like some trainer saying you need to have a rest day once a week. Like with these people who are at the top of the top, what does their rest regimen look like?
Once again, every person's a little different, but the common theme is they all have to intentionally rest. It's not like even on their days off, maybe their rest is more of a meditative or a mobility day, or they're in a bath or a hot tub. And it's hard because it's the whole being able to not only rest your body, but calm your mind. And I mean, a lot of us want to be like, it's a body in motion that stays in motion, which is true. You need some movement, but you need varying levels of movement. Just like their routine, if we're talking athletes, is very different in season versus off season. Just like performers, when they're touring, that looks a total different schedule than when they're at home writing and recording, preparing for their tour. And some of these points in their schedules and their lives have more intentional carved out rest. And some it's just every week you're going to have whatever it might be, like I said, the mobility or a walk. And everyone is able to relax and turn off their mind a little differently. So for you and I, that might be a bath or a walk. For them, they might want to cook, which sounds terrible, but something to intentionally rest.
I like that. I mean, you're saying it doesn't mean you have to literally lay there and do nothing. Like you can, some people like coloring, right? I like building Legos. You can, there's different things that you can do. Okay. I'm still concerned I'm going to end up on my 600-pound life. So talk me off the ledge with that. And I'm sure there's other people listening where if you don't feel well or something's going on in your body and you can't do your normal routine, you go into catastrophizing. So either you're going to be on my 600-pound life, or you're going to end up in a tent and broke and lose everything. So talk me off the ledge here. Like, how am I not going to blow up like a balloon without me being active? If this happens to last, which universe I'm not available for this if this lasts for weeks on end?
Well, listen, first of all, this fucking sucks. I mean, it sucks, right?
Yeah.
You haven't dealt with this in a long time.
Yep.
Now, do you truly think you're going to be on your 600-pound life, or are you being dramatic?
I mean, probably dramatic, but I really don't want to like head that way.
So when you've gone on vacation or taken time off purposely, not being injured, that it worked for your schedule. I didn't see you on 600-pound life. Did I miss you?
You didn't see my debut.
I might have missed the episode, but I don't recall.
Sure, there's a side show. It's called On My Way. That's true, because I've like traipsed through Italy and ate my way through pasta. But then I could still go deep with it. We're crazy. I could go, yeah, but I walked everywhere. And now I'm like really immobile.
But before this, you were struggling through another injury, which we got you through. That's true. You were feeling really good. And you did the common thing. You stopped doing what you were supposed to do before you were out of the woods. And I approved it. And you did an activity that you're not used to doing and went farther than normal, probably faster than normal. And your setup probably wasn't correct. So we have a lot of varying factors in here that contributed to this.
Do you see how she says this? And it's like, I'm not offended, but I'm totally called out. And it's so true. It's like 100% true. And I got greedy with it, is what I like to say. It's like, and you can do this in any area of your life. Like,
oh, absolutely.
It's like when people don't finish their antibiotics or they've not been feeling well, but now they're on the mend. And then they go back to the gym too soon. That also used to be me. And then it would set me back like weeks.
And our goal is to never have you like to move, or like you're saying, go to the gym. We want to be able to modify movements. If that's your passion and that's what you want to do, let's figure out a way to modify it to get you some kind of relief. It might not be exactly what you want at that time, but with all these outlying factors that happen and variables, we just need to calm it down, take a second, figure out something else we love, and then work our way back. And then you'll be signing up for Team USA cycling event here soon when we get you back.
Yes. Now I have a resentment against my bike. Fuck that bike. I'm not going on the bike again. I'm going this deep in it. Number one, to further validate what you already know, that I'm
crazy. And we all do these things where we push and force ourselves and it backfires in so many areas of our lives. Like, when does pushing and forcing actually serve us? Because it has to serve these professional athletes and high performer clients of yours. Like, it's pushing and forcing at some point is what's given them the edge, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's just knowing that finesse of that fine line of this is a good push or a good little force. And then this is too much. But even when you do push or force, you pull back to be able to relax, calm things down, and then you push a little bit more. So it's this fine balance of back and forth, back and forth. How much can you push or load or whatever? Yeah. I mean, it's hard because every body's so different. Everyone's muscles are different, or everyone's tolerance. I say singers are endurance athletes because they're on the stage for at least an hour and a half. I mean, I've always how do you not pee your pants, or do you wear a diaper and I can't see it?
I think some of them I swear Tony Robbins wears a diaper because he doesn't leave the stage. There's no way, unless he's dehydrated himself.
They say they're just on such that endorphin, and I don't know my words very well, but pump that you don't even have to go. And I'm
I can see that because when I've spoken on big stages and I was excited, all those urges go away. So what's the come down from these people? You see people after a major championship or after a big tour or like the Grammys or something. What does the come down look like on these people's bodies? There has to, because as one of my old therapists said, what goes up must come down. You can't have this adrenaline high and the push and give it your all and not have a come down from it. So what does that end up looking like in someone's body?
Once again, a little different in everyone's, but at the end of a season, depending on the sport, some people will be like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling all this pain, or wow, this hurts. And I never felt this before. And it's well, you were able to play through it. Your body was just so in it, ready to go, that you didn't even notice sometimes what the pain, dogs, they have so much pain. So do a lot of these athletes. And it's not necessarily pain, but the come down allows your body to feel and breathe and relax again. As for the singers, same thing. Oh my gosh, I wore heels on stage a solo tour. Now I have plantar fasciitis. Why didn't I have this before? Or knee pain. And then even back to singers, they'll lose their voice. They'll get a sore throat, all these things, because you just go. And somehow your body knows that there's an end point and it can push to the end point. And then, so that's why a lot of athletes, whatever, try to plan trips at the end of the season just to go relax, whatever their happy place is, and just calm down a little bit, chill, be able to separate themselves from their job. These are their jobs. And then come back and start putting all the pieces back together.
That's exactly what I do with launches for my business, is that I like that you said plan it. It's planned.
You have to be intentional with your time. I don't care whether it's you, a professional athlete, a singer, me, whether you're social media, podcast, whatever your job is, you need to be intentional with, okay, this is some work time, but I need to carve out, whether that's Sunday, some time for yourself and to recover and get your mind off of it.
Yeah. And what have you seen happens with people, even though we all look at them going, they're the most so disciplined and they're so focused and all these things. What happens though when you see them not taking that, kind of blowing off or getting greedy with not taking that intentional rest time? Do the wheels start falling off the bus?
Their career ends early.
Oh shit. Really?
I mean, if you go
look,
think, yeah, I mean, that is the biggest consequence. If they don't wake up, don't invest in themselves with their time to take care of themselves, or are they missing out on winning the award for their position or their job that they could have had a little bit of rest and been able to push themselves to get the edge to the next level?
Wow. I think a lot of people, I know I needed to hear that, because it's not sustainable. You can't perform at that high of level at all times. Like, isn't that fit? It's humanly, like medically impossible, right?
Oh, yeah. And simplicity, look at sports. No one is playing their sport 24/7 in a professional manner.
There's a reason why there's seasons and then there's off seasons, even though, like, using the NFL as an example, they could end up making a lot more money if the football season went around the clock. But you would have players, all the key players would be dropping like flies.
I was going to say their poor bodies would not make it. Their careers would be pretty short.
What are some of the common themes of these people? Because that's what we all want to know when we're looking at people that we admire that have this almost fantasy-like career or at the top of the top. It's what are some of these common themes where you go, okay, I can see why this person was drafted. I can see why this person wins championships. I can see why this person's a multiple Grammy Award winner.
Well, first of all, they poop like you and I.
Oh my God. She loved talking about, that was what her concern was, by the way. Was it this morning? She's like, well, did you poop? And I'm like, what does pooping have to do with my fucking knee? But I did.
It has to do with all the stuff. Now you're taking the magnesium and not the other stuff. That's one of the reasons. And because the back, all those things. But they're normal people. It could be you. It could be I. I mean, there's so many different factors. But I think a key factor that you and I have talked about before, but with them, they show up. They're up for the challenge and they're going to be present and be there available to push themselves now in a healthy manner, sometimes overly, but have a passion and excitement about what they're able to get to do and gratefulness. And they also, a lot of them still can't believe they are where they are.
Like there's like humility to it.
Yes, absolutely. But that they want to work to keep this. And the coolest part is they want to grow and even be better, which once again, a lot of us have those traits, right? It's just their chosen job.
A lot of people want it. A lot of people say they want it. A lot of people feel they want it. But when it comes down to taking the daily actions to getting the thing they want, that's where most people fall apart.
Oh, yeah. And I know it is like with what you help people, it's overwhelming. They don't know where to start. Well, same with these athletes and celebrities and even billionaires, CEOs, whatever. Everyone wants a piece of them. Everyone's coming at them with all these things. They're getting all this stuff thrown at them. They don't know who to believe or what to do, what should be next, and that's a hard thing of just figuring out, okay, what do I need for my body right now? Who should be my team? What works best for me? Okay, this player is doing this, but is that actually going to work for me? Or is my body and position require something different? So it's a whole business in itself of them figuring this out without sacrificing how far they've come and being able to maintain and perform at that high level.
And some things that I've been surprised to learn just from having the privilege of working with some of these people and hearing some stories from you is how much of their own money they invest in their personal development, in their physical health, their overall wellness. Like a lot of people assume, oh, so-and-so's the quarterback. Like their whole team of doctors all does it for free, or it's paid by the NFL, or this is so-and-so. And I'm sure like people just beg to work with them for free and they don't have to pay for anything. And it's not true.
No, not true at all. And depending on the sport and all that thing, what they're able to have access to, and then what they choose to do on top of that, in addition, that works for them themselves. But yeah, they're all investing tons of money.
Like, would you say, because keep in mind, you guys, it's all relatives. I think percentages are helpful because if I say, oh, they're spending $1 million a year, you guys be like, what the hell? But percentage wise, would you say it's fair to say that they devote a substantial percentage of their income to making sure their overall like wellness and mental health and their machine is running well?
Their body is their job. And yes, absolutely. And that even goes all the way to business people, CEOs. They need to be able to think. They need to be able to recover, make a decision, move. Like no one feels good if they're not able to move.
Yes,
I mean,
listen to me today.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's across the board. Professional athletes, celebrity, super successful people. Yeah, they're investing in themselves even when it's scary.
Energy truly is your most valuable asset, and time as well. Time's something you can't get back. Energy, that's not something that's always consistent, right?
Right.
You want to really do your best to work on your energy because as I always say, you can't fake energy.
You can't fake it on the field.
I was just going to say that. Like as much as I can gear myself up because I'm excited to talk to you and I love podcasting and I know I'm just myself. Like you get what you guys are going to get. This is all you guys are getting today. This is it. And I trust that's more than enough. But if I had to go play in I don't know, the US Open right now, we'd have a problem.
Major.
I mean, I can see why. And it's public, so we're not going to get sued for talking about it. But I can see kind of why Lance Armstrong, some of these people go down that road of breaking all these rules. Because when you're operating at that level and the wheels start falling off the bus, it's very tempting, I'm sure, to use these substances and different things in
100%.
order to make you perform higher.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I get it totally. And what also with that is it seemed like the easy fix. I don't care what you do, who you are, we all want the easy fix no matter what. So that's why it's so hard. Sometimes you want the surgery because you think it's going to be the quick fix and then you're still in pain. Not that surgery is not needed at times. I'm not saying that. There's definitely cases and emergencies and all those things. But in general, if your back hurts, jumping straight to the surgery without going through the necessary steps, it's not guaranteed to fix it. I see it all the time.
Do you feel that these people who are in the elite level, are they people who aren't looking for the shortcut or the cheat? Like if you tell them to do 5 tedious as hell things in order to make them 2% stronger, or how they'll go do it? Is that how these people are wired?
If they fully see the benefit somehow. But they're also very conscientious of their time and their energy. So if they're going to do performance training or something else, they need to feel pretty much immediately or see the difference. If they're going to invest their time, money, energy into it and somehow change their schedule, and something else probably needs to go, and what that is. But yeah, I mean, everyone, human nature, we all want it to be a little easier. Could you just magically touch me and it'll be better? I mean,
that's why
sometimes
I asked you the other day, it was why would you be telling me her whole thing is breathing through your butthole? And you know what? Let's take a moment right now, shall we?
Yes.
For everyone, I think we all need it to breathe through your butthole. So can you take us through this very high specialized medical phenomenon that you've created of butthole breathing?
Yes. And a little precursor of what this even is. We all just sit here and breathe through our chest and our shoulders. And I'm sure you're like, oh my gosh, my neck hurts, my shoulder hurts, my back hurts. We're all just utilizing these muscles up here because we're stressed out and hold tension. Breathe into your butthole is this cue I came up with a couple years ago when I'm doing some performance training and even rehabbing backs and hips and everything. And I'm trying to get people, because it's so hard for us to feel our pelvic floor. Even though you think you're breathing in your pelvic floor, Kegels are not it. So I was trying to think of another cue for you to feel that. And I just was one day, breathe into your butthole. And I felt it. I was feeling your butt bones, and I felt those muscles move. And I'm like, did you hear that? Or did you feel that? Hopefully I didn't hear anything, but that was it. And it's worked so well. So that's just become my thing. Breathe in your butthole. So sitting there, take a second for yourself. You deserve it. If you're driving, keep your eyes open. But if you're not, close your eyes for a second. And you're going to inhale through your nose. And I want you to think of expanding. So
Am I expanding my butthole right now?
Not yet. We're getting there.
Okay.
You're like expanding into your kidneys, trying to breathe into your kidneys, trying to breathe into your abs. And then as you exhale, let your ribs come down, exhale through your nose and relax. Good. And do that one more time. So inhale and expand like a balloon. Exhale and relax. On this next breath, as you inhale, think of inhaling all the way into your butthole. You might be able to feel those muscles activate a little bit between your butt bones. And then exhale and relax. Or exhale through your butthole and fart.
Is it weird that my like butthole like moves when I do that?
No, it's just, you're actually being able to feel those muscles down there, which is step one to pelvic floor.
How is that different than doing, is it Kegels? Is that how you say it? Kegels? Kegel. How is that? I'm like Kegel. It rhymes with bagel though. How is that? Because right now when I'm breathing through my butthole, I do kind of feel it in my vagina too.
Yeah, it's all those pelvic floor muscles. So that what you're doing now, we're focusing on the eccentric contraction. So lengthening. So when you're doing a bicep curl, it's the way down. A lot of us can contract and do the isometric because it's easier. And essentially that's what a Kegel is squeeze harder, squeeze harder, squeeze harder. But we're all really good at doing that and holding tension. We need to actually turn on, refine, whatever word you want to use, but being able to integrate and control that lengthening to be able to heal some of this stuff, such as pelvic floor dysfunction, low back pain. I've seen it with hips. I mean, it is integrated into almost everything.
What amazes me the most about what you teach people is how someone could have pain in one area and you're like, oh, that's from your neck. Like my knee. She's like, well, this really like is this, the root cause is really your lower back. I feel nothing in my lower back. I do not feel any pain at all in my lower back. And I believe you. Mm-hmm. But why is the pain that we feel often not the source of the pain?
So our body's really, really smart and it's going to do everything it can to protect us, but it wants you to still be able to move forward. So sometimes different spots get irritated. So say if you have pain in your knee, well, if you taking the full history of your activities, you do have to sit for your job a little bit. You are super active, but you can tweak something, have a muscle spasm, a nerve get irritated. I mean, there are so many different layers of what this could be, but essentially it refers to your knee because the knee makes you stop a little bit. You might not feel it in your back. So then we have to play like detective and figure out where it's coming from. And so often, I mean, this happens all the time. I see like carpal tunnel or elbow pain. The source is the neck sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. Plantar fasciitis. Oh, I look like a freaking witch doctor when I go, oh, well, it's from your low back. And they do one or two exercises and it's magically gone.
Yes, that happened with me. And there are these press ups she has me do. And I was like, oh, fine, I'll do them. And I mean, I was in enough pain and I have like PTSD from having plantar fasciitis. Like you do not want that.
No,
like I'll take the knee thing right now over that. That's terrible. But what's interesting, what most people do, which is why I know you've created my training room and I'll link all this stuff in the show notes, you guys, where you can get her videos and it's at an amazing price. It's affordable to anyone. That gets you to the root source and you're not sitting there doing like hours and hours of exercises to help this thing. But
no one's got time for that.
No. And when we have an issue like plantar fasciitis or carpal tunnel or whatever, I mean, I bought everything. I was crazy. I bought every shoe insert. I bought every contraption there was. I probably spent like $2,000-$3,000. But here I'm so focused on where the pain is and there was zero attention focused on where the root is. So if you're just treating where the pain's at, are you really going to end up with that much relief?
Maybe for a tendonitis. Each case is a little different, right? But even say you have an ACL tear or meniscus or some other common, or if it is truly plantar fasciitis, if you're not looking above and below at the whole chain all the way up to your core with the breathing, it's more susceptible to come back or get re-injured. Or you're doing compensation patterns and we fix your foot, but we didn't address anything else. But, now a knee problem. So it's just so important, and not to be overwhelming, but that you look at more than just, oh, let me slap some ice on my heel after I run. I'll be fine. Oh, wait, why is my back and hip flexor hurt now?
How much of the mind is involved with the body? If someone is going through a lot of stress, a divorce, they just have drama going on in their life, they're really nervous about their business, they hate their job, they've got stressful stuff with their families. And that's when I notice in what I do and working with clients, like they always get sick. But it's usually like sinus infection, sick, that kind of sick. But how does it show up in the body? Like I do notice that if I'm dealing with a lot of stress and it's like, oh my God, it's one thing after another, without a doubt, like my shoulders and my neck are miserable.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. And that's what you'll notice, people coming in super anxious and on their stress high and cortisol high, which I mean, I love to live in too, but that's not the healthiest. Your just body can't do it all. And you're in this constant tension state of contraction and not relaxing, not lengthening, not able to just tone it down for a second to let it heal. And when you're in that constant contraction state, I mean, there's not enough blood flow. You're more susceptible to trigger points. You're not using your full range of motion. We could go on and on of all the different compensation patterns, but the point is you're more likely to feel pain or get injured.
This pelvic floor stuff is so crazy. It's like there's so much misinformation about it, and it's almost become normalized, especially with like women who've had children. They'll be like, oh, I pee when I laugh, thanks to my 3 kids. Ha ha ha. And then they even sell now like pads for women who like pee themselves a little bit. Like almost this is just normal and here's something for it. And it's like, that's actually not good. There's a problem. And for the record, I definitely have a pelvic floor problem. Let's just say that. And I don't have kids. And that's the other thing, is like, you don't have to have kids to have a pelvic floor problem.
Absolutely not. And while it's been normalized, it is not normal to pee yourself. It is not just okay to wear the black leggings all the time. That is something that you should address. And I, like with all medicine, which I think is incredible, it's ever changing, especially in this musculoskeletal, area of medicine that we specialize in. It's evolving and you have to keep up with everything coming out. And, oh, this might change. Oh, we found something better. And just figuring out if you know how the body works. And I mean, I was fortunate enough to work on dead bodies for a couple of years in school and like really be able, when you come in, I can picture all that stuff and just trying to figure it out. There's so many people doing so much research on this constantly coming out, but you just have to stay up on it and keep fighting for yourself to get an answer.
What is the reason that so many women have this pelvic floor problem? I really feel it's like, I mean, I'm sure they've have studies where there's a percentage. I feel it's even way higher than whatever percentage you find in any medical journal. It's really crazy. Do you think it's so high because of stress, because we hold in so much tension?
I think that's a component of it. And I think we all don't really know how to correctly use your core. I mean, crunches and sit-ups. I mean, you're really only using your rectus abdominis. You're shutting a lot of key component muscles off where they need to help you stabilize your pelvic floor and everything. So I think stress is a huge component. And then also some of us want to train and we're just used to training the wrong things. Sitting all day is not healthy for you either. And just not focusing on it. I think that could be a whole nother conversation, but whether you've had kids or not, there's not that much like you feel like education on it of, hey, this is who you should go see or who you could talk to or who is a resource for you. If you've had kids, I think the postpartum care needs to be way longer and have a lot of other components to it. If you are women at all, it should have some more resources and components and not just, but I mean, depending whatever specialty is, you don't have time to do everything. You don't have time to know everything. I don't know anything about derm. I get derm questions all the time and I'm like, please go to a dermatologist. I don't know. I didn't listen during that one course that I had.
Yeah, there's so much information out there, and there's so many like biohacking and all of this crap on social media. And it's like, you could literally spend all day doing all of these things that all of these experts are saying. Do ice baths and do cold plunges and make sure that you go into the red light sauna. It's like, how do we know which ones are worth doing? Or I've never once heard you tell me, by the way, yet, for me to go do an ice bath for my inflammation. Are you not an ice bath believer?
So there's a ton of research recent, like in the past couple of years, out debunking like the rice, that you should actually move, and that rice can hinder inflammation, and your body is sending inflammation there to help it and to help repair the tissue that's damaged. I think there's a time and a place for everything. I do cold plunge therapy sometimes, but I don't think it's necessarily going to totally fix your injury. I think there's a lot of other components and stuff we need to do first, and let your body do its thing. It is smart. You are a healthy person. It's going to know what to do. It's just helping facilitate that to make it a little faster for your liking.
If you were to say some key things that would be a solid move for everyone to incorporate in their life that you have seen these people who have the edge, who are at the top of their game do, and it's stuff that like we could implement if we so choose, that we would see a benefit, what would some of those things be?
Well, first, and I totally agree, it's boring as watching a rash pop up on your skin, but learning how to freaking breathe.
Yeah, it sounds
it's terrible. It's terrible. Yeah. But that's one of the free things I have out there is a 3-part breathing series in different situations. So one traveling, one before you go to bed, one when you're sitting at work. And I just you get to hear my annoying voice, and I just cue you through. Here's what you think. This is what you do. So I think that's step one, because not only is that going to help your muscle tension to decrease, but it's also going to help your mind to relax. So it's like you're getting a double whammy for your time. And all of us, we ain't got time for a lot. So I think that's a really good first step to incorporate. 2, I also put together the De-Stress in 20, which is some of those same movements, workout movements, rehab movements that I'm doing with the professional athletes and celebrities, and what's giving them the edge, what's winning them the trophies, what's winning them being at the top of their position. We took a few of those and I made De-Stress in 20. You got 20 minutes. If you don't have 20 minutes, pick one. They're like sequence videos and you can do that. And if you can't, if it's too advanced for you, I give the option of just holding it and working on your breathing. And you're going to get a whole lot from that. You might even like shake. And if you don't want to use it as a workout, you can just use it as your mobility day. So it's very versatile and it doesn't have to be so hard.
It's funny. I always say like mindset work. I can build you a multi-million-dollar business plan, but without managing that mindset, you'll sabotage all of it. And without proper breathing, it sounds like every single person you work with would sabotage their ultimate success by not doing proper breathing.
Yeah, because your brain fully can't engage the correct muscles.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds boring.
Oh,
but
it is.
We breathe all day, but it sounds boring.
Yeah.
So really what it comes down to is, are you willing to do the more boring and tedious and even basic sounding stuff to give you the edge in your life? Physically, mentally, financially, emotionally, all the things. Are you willing to do that? Because truthfully in business, and I wanted to switch gears and talk about that, we have a lot of medical professionals and healers who listen to the show. And I know you have a lot of people that say to you, like you go to conferences and they're like, oh my God, I would love to have the clients you have. You only work with these like elite VIP celebrity people. Like, how did you grow so fast? What are you doing? And it's like they think you have like, oh yeah, I just did these 2 things and it just, I love when people are like, oh, you just got lucky. It's like, yeah, sweetie, luck is not a business plan. Like that's not how that worked. Why do you think it is that you have the best of the best coming to you? And how did you build it to get there? Because I'm sure that didn't start right out of the gate.
Ooh, self-reflection question. Well, I always had a vision and a challenge for myself. I like winning. I like breaking. When people tell me no, I'm like, let's go. But yeah, I feel like I was so uncomfortable for so long. I moved to Nashville not knowing a single person. I got on care.com and I was a nanny while I was trying to figure out how to open my business. I went to 10 banks that told me no before someone told me yes. And through that and through all those tears, I was living on ramen and water. I was like, I'm still going to do this somehow. So I showed up when I didn't want to show up and kept going.
Yeah. And you kept putting your care and your heart into the patients that came to see you.
Oh, yeah.
You weren't phoning it in. And let me tell you guys listening, people who are very aware, alert, and attuned, we can tell when a medical practitioner or a healer is just doing it for cash, is just doing it for the check, can't wait till the end of the day, whose heart isn't in it. I can feel it within seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, I can also feel the difference when someone's really in it. And I'm sure you can too.
Absolutely. That person in the room is the most important thing to me. And I have to leave it all aside. Like I had 2 flat tires 2 days ago. I cried. But you know what? I somehow figured it all out, went to work, and I had a client say, how are you in such a good mood after what happened? I'm like, well, first of all, I'm not hurt. Second, this is about you, not me. This is about you. We are focused on you. You have to. And I love what I do. It's such a high. Oh, it's so fun. Like, I'm just truly meant to do this.
And I said to you, I think it was that night, and I voice texted you and I said, this is why you're so successful. A few things. One, you show up regardless. And that doesn't mean like in spite of yourself and not honoring yourself. But you know what? Sometimes you just got to show up.
Yeah.
Even if you're like, it would be easier for me to cancel everything. Sometimes you just got to do it.
Mm.
And then you've got to do it the next day and the next day. I don't feel like doing most things 70% of the time.
No,
it's not
and once
because
you're there, once you're there, yeah.
It's not about like the people.
No.
It's just that I'm in a mood or I'm grouchy or I'm tired or I'm lazy or whatever. It's like, you're not, I coach you. You're not like, you're motivated, but you're not, I don't see you as a type A personality. I really don't. People might on the outside think that. You're really not. You're like type chill. You're a type C.
Except in my Las Vegas brain.
Yeah, like you're a type C in the sense of you're disciplined and you'll show up and you'll follow through and you're very coachable and you'll do the things. But like, you're also not someone who's like manically working and wants to work 12 hours a day. There's a lot of people who are like that. And there's a lot of people who are wired more like you or me that think they have to be a type A to have what you've built. And it's not true. You do not need to do that. That doesn't mean you can do it by like half-assing it. But you also don't need to be someone who's 12 hours a day. That's all you're thinking about. That's all you do. Because then how would you show up in front of your patients? You'd be a disaster.
Well, I've been there and I got really sick. So, I've had to literally change that. And actually, that's when I grew the most business-wise of, okay, you can't be like that anymore. You have to figure it out and find some balance.
Yeah, I had to learn that way too. Because I was taught that all of that stuff, all the stuff most of us are taught, especially if you played sports, it's the grind and the hustle. And I used to have like a t-shirt that said 2-a-days, but 3-a-days are better. And Nike made the shirt and it was my favorite shirt.
Yeah.
And people would be like, damn, she's a baller. I'm like, I am. And then the wheels fell off the bus, like we're talking about physically, because where's the rest in that? Where's the joy in that? Where like you can pull it off for a certain amount of time. But it's actually when you like pull back and chill more is when the next level cash flows in. If you have an actual foundation set, don't you think?
Absolutely. And seeing these athletes, they're like, they're type A about their job, but they can rest and relax and go enjoy a game of golf or go out to dinner and not think about work. Like they've trained themselves to be able to separate and relax and be, like you were saying, that type C. I mean, it's key.
In fact, I've dated a couple athletes. They are some of the laziest motherfuckers. It's great
in
when
their
they're
rest
not,
time.
Yeah. Like 16 hours of video games and chilling. And you're like, what the hell? How is this person? Well, that's how. Because there's that, you have to have that balance in that extreme situation, right?
Absolutely.
And yes, I'm listening to myself, everyone, as I'm saying all this. Okay. So don't think that's lost on me. When someone is wanting more growth in their business, they're wanting to feel different in their body, they're wanting to be in a different place than they are in life, and they know they need help getting it, yet they're resisting and paying for it. People pay you a lot of money, or they pay for their kids who want to be drafted in top colleges. Like, she ain't cheap, people, right? Just as I'm not cheap, right? You want to work with the best, you do have you have to pay, period. Right? Like, it's, if you want to go after some cheap stuff, yeah, you're going to get some cheap results. It doesn't mean that she doesn't have ways to access her talents with having your training room and all of that stuff. There's ways to access. But to work with you directly, yeah, you have to invest. But why are there so many people who say they want these things, yet they don't put down the cash? They don't find a way. Like, you got turned down by all those banks. No one would give me a business loan at all. I had to use credit cards. Like, it wasn't going to happen. So I got a loan. It was called American Express and Citibank, which I'm very grateful for. I figured out a way. You kept going and figured out a way. You bet on yourself. Like, you went into debt. Technically, it's strategic debt to build your business. Why are so many people resistant to that? Yet they'll go into like $200,000-$300,000 of student loan debt to get a degree in like advanced math or English.
Well, I guess I can relate it to a little bit. Like, I was scared of having a coach or even investing in that. Like, it's a lot. It's scary. It's vulnerable. Someone's going to peel back the window, or whatever that saying is, and
the saying,
tell you, like, if they are honest and good at their job, they're going to tell you the truth. And sometimes that's scary to hear, and be like, well, I'm going to call you out. You're doing this wrong, or you need to do this better. And not everyone's ready for that. But when you do, I have been able to see the benefits of that, and the athletes and stuff. Like, once you invest, then you're accountable. You're going to show up. You're going to do your homework. You're paying for it. There is something so key to that exchange. I mean, things for free. I've done it before. I bought courses and they're still sitting in my email.
Me too. I have so many and I've never even opened them.
And people do that with online, like even workouts. How many of those that are free did you actually do? And like Google, that's free, but that's overwhelming. Like, you're paying a professional who spent so much money for you too, but me, like, on my education, continuing. I'm going to stuff constantly to make sure I'm at the cutting edge, to make sure the whole practice stands out. And we have to pay for that somehow. So yeah, of course it's going to cost some money to get the edge.
What did you feel has been like some of the big benefits of working with me and you being vulnerable and you investing in having not just continuing education in your medical field, but having on your business side, on the mindset side?
First of all, it's awesome to have you as part of my team. Like, you're there to truly support me, but be honest with me. And you see something from the outside. I'm so in it. And this is my baby. I've told you how I was living on water and ramen. I am in this. I birthed this thing. Like, I have blind spots, and it's nice to have someone be like, hey, this is a huge blind spot. We got to work on this. Or this system fucking sucks. Like, we need to change this. And just if you're working, doing performance training, or you have an injury, that's what our job is too.
Right. Identify the source of the problem, get to the root and fix it.
Bada boom.
It's no different when it comes to your business. It's actually no different when it comes to your mindset. It's no different when it comes to your body.
Mm-hmm.
But continuing to believe that you can figure it out on your own, whether it's mental, physical, financial, or emotional, you're not going to make it.
We're not wired to do things alone.
And you're just not going to make it. Like you said, it's a career ender. And in fact, it's a business ender. You might not even get started. I have people in my life
Absolutely.
who've had injuries that they're living with them and complain about them all the time. And they have insurance. Like they could go to somebody, they have the money, or they could find the money. They could ask for the money to go to someone like you.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't. And instead they wear a knee brace or the carpal tunnel weird things you see people wear on their hands.
Mm-hmm.
And just live with it. You know that show? I know you watch these weird shows. Like I watched the foot show and the pimple popper show.
Oh, the pimple popper,
What's the foot one called?
I don't know.
That one's nasty. I'm like, I'm sorry, but toenail fungus cream at Walmart's $4.
Yeah.
I'll buy it for you. That's not okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's like these people let a small bump go and it ruins their entire life. And literally it's like a 3-minute procedure.
Yeah. I mean, it's just perspective, right?
It's so funny, but look at the cost of what it is costing you to continue going how you're going in any area of your life.
Absolutely.
What is it costing you? And what would it give you? What is the upside of you doing it? What could happen for you if you really went all in and you treated your body like it was a baby? You treated your business like it was a baby. You treated your mental health like it was a baby. Like you really went all in on it. I want you to really sit with what you feel could happen for you. And then look at the opposite of continuing doing what you're doing. If it's not working for you, you've got to take some kind of an action. There is no shortcut to it. I wish there was. Believe me, I would have found it and I'd be selling it.
Yeah, same.
The shortcut is going to someone who has the receipts, who's worked with a ton of people, who knows the way and can identify the holes. That's the shortcut versus you Googling and trying to figure out yourself. I can't think of another shortcut. I've not found one. Is there one that you know of?
No, I would have found it by now, but there's not.
Yeah. And bottom line, you want what you say you want and you covet what some of these people have, whether it's what I have, whether it's what Dr. Audra has. And you're like, God, how do they have that? If you really want to know, hire us. I'm being serious.
Yeah. No.
And you're well, I don't have the money to hire you. Well, you didn't have the money here.
No.
The money to start my business.
Nope.
I figured it out. And if you're in even more resistance and going, but I don't have this and you guys don't have kids, and you can come up with, listen, I coach a woman who has 6 kids and started a second business. And it's not like she is married to some billionaire. This is a woman who's self-made. There's always a way, but you have to want it bad enough.
Yep.
That's why, show up. Right? And show up on your good days, on your shit days, on your cunty days, on all the days in between. So how can people get more from you? We know that they can pay you, but you have some options. We're going to put them in the show notes. You guys can go and check her out on Instagram. She does some great free content on there. But you do have one more thing I want to make sure we share. You have your podcast and your other new thing.
So it's really hard to work with me right now with the way my schedule is, but I'm going to make some room in the schedule just for 2 people to do the Edge. And what this is, you're going to have me every week. It's an 8-week program. And we're going to go through what your weaknesses and compensation patterns are and be able to coach what you want, what your goals are. And this doesn't only include the body, but we're going to talk about that mindset of yours. Where are you holding yourself back? And even when you're playing that golf game, What are you thinking while you're swinging when it's a big hit? When you're on that race about to finish at mile 12 of a half marathon, where's your head at? It is not just about coaching you through some exercises. It's about putting all the puzzle pieces together to give you that edge.
I love that. And this is also for high school students as well who are looking to get drafted and all of that.
Yep. And I love working with that and just setting you apart. Like if you're on the edge there or you want to be better, do you need that scholarship to get school? I'm free. Do you want to possibly have a professional career? I mean, I know how these other people function and how they get it. I'm here to help.
Yeah, and the catch is you have to pay for that.
Yep.
And find a way. And some of you can go, see, that's why it's not fair. That's why the rich keep getting richer, because they have those advantages. Thank you for coming on. This was wonderful. I appreciate all of your insight, your butthole breathing. That is going to change the lives of so many.
Yes, thank you. And if you wanted to know more, Dr. Audra Instagram about coaching through butthole breathing and to see my crazy life, follow me.
Bye, babe.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.